So it's important then that we're able to have an idea of how we might spot the best candidates. And John and I talk quite often about the importance of process, both in terms of the diligence of the process, but also the creativity that we might apply and what we take out of the process as much as what we put in. So you'll be glad to know that we're not going to give you our top 10 hints and tips on creating a process. But I did think it would be valuable to think about what does good look like and what does bad look like when you are engaging with candidates through that initial journey of getting to know each other. So good stuff first. If I'm coming out of a conversation, it might be an introductory call, it might be a formal interview. To a lesser or greater degree, if it's gone well, I will have learned something new. It will have been a conversation, notionally between peers, definitely between two people trying to make their way in their careers, and ideas will have been exchanged. Those ideas might well have been around current market waves and specifically relating them to your business. As an individual, this salesperson, they're going to be comfortable not only giving credit to other people, they'll be comfortable with their success and how they got there, but they will also balance the credibility that they come with and the graft it took to get there. Now, that's important. That's important. You're going to hire somebody who will have been hitting numbers. You need that person to be putting in the same level of graft for you now as they did 18 months ago, 2 years ago, when they started their journey to success. And they need to be articulate in describing that and demonstrating it to you. If we think about the bad stuff, and my guess is I've been involved in as many bad interviews as good ones. That's life. So the bad stuff, I've already referenced confirmation bias presented as IQ. A desire to ask questions is great. A desire to ask questions to give themselves an opportunity to confirm to you what they already knew and how important that is. That is not good. You do not want them doing that in front of customers. So that is a red flag. That is a bad thing to spot in an interview, but an important thing to spot. Let's get that out there. We're looking for people who are prepared. This is a two-way sales process, but on their part, they certainly need to be prepared, and our antenna should be raised if we know that this character is relying on what the recruiter has told them. That's not good enough. For a salesperson, that's not good enough. And the same is true if the conversation is overtaken by buzzwords, of which there are many. We need a level of intelligence, someone who's articulate. This person is going to be carrying forward your brand, your values, your credentials. We need to be comfortable that they have enough in their locker to do that. I then started to think about how would we open up a conversation that would allow some of these attributes to come to the table. And this is about thinking beyond what scripted questions might look like. So I've offered up some examples. And again, I'm sure in a group situation, we could think of some more. But the idea here is that we're offering up a canvas for the candidate to take over, to paint the picture that they want you to take away. And I've used these four, in particular, the theory on how you build a great team, That's a good one. It challenges them to think about not only growth, but to talk about change. It's implied that change is happening through the building process. And it also opens up a conversation about how they like to be managed to best effect. These are important topics, but we would get more out of the conversation asking an open question in this way than we will by asking a closed question in the form of a script. The same is true with the question, how would you describe your job to people you care about? That is a nuanced question that normally causes somebody to sit back and have a think, which is good. They're not expecting the question. So how do they engage with something that they weren't expecting in a meeting where they care about the outcome and a person whose judgment they are going to be dependent on? Basically, selling. So opening that up can produce good outcomes, and whether it does or it doesn't, it will be very informative about this candidate. Beyond these topics,
I like that question.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like that, definitely.
Yeah. Have you used it, John?
I haven't. No, I'll be honest with you. I'm quite a poor interviewer. I'm not going to lie. I'm quite a basic interviewer, which is shocking considering the industry that I work in. But recruiters are notoriously bad at recruitment, ironically. But it's good to really you want to get really into what makes a candidate tick, really, and what motivates them. And I think asking them to describe what they do to people that they care about is quite an interesting one, because they have to, as you say, they have to think a little bit about that. How do they approach that? And that's quite revealing, I think.
I think that's right. And to be honest, John, there is a reality or some common sense in the natural flow of when these conversations happen. So in the role that you perform and the value that you bring to your customers, there are, I'm sure, a dozen questions that are more important before you get to this one.